taking the tail of treatment. So many people goes in the field and ask, like, should I treat the flock or don't treat the flock based on the 5 buds that open? You consider score 1 to be treated, or just something that is gonna be normal and then wait a little bit?
Well, when you suspect and when you make the diagnosis based on lesion scoring, you will get an average on the 5 birds. You examine each bird, you look for the lesion for the 5 species, and you score for each bird. Then you make an average score for each species of Coccidia among the 5 birds. You don't make an average on all the lesions for all the species, because sometimes we can see that on some documentation. So you focus on each species, and it depends on the species and on the lesion score, the average lesion score, depending on the species. For example, with species that develop in the upper part of the gut, Iceviolina and Maxima, I consider that they can be pathogenic. They have an impact on growth and feed conversion ratio from the lesion score of 2. For other species like Eimeria necatrix, which is really pathogenic, I consider that if the average lesion score with necatrix is 1 at that time, it is very risky. So I need to do something in order for the flock to get not to get worse. But for Eimeria tenella, it's really different, because this species develops only in the ceca. And in the ceca, there is not much nutrient absorption. Ceca are not really interesting and important for digestion. So with Eimeria tenella, as long as the birds eat the normal amount of feed, they will grow normally. Eimeria tenella doesn't impact the feed conversion ratio. But if the birds are sick due to a big development of Eimeria tenella, they will have clinical signs, the belly will hurt, so they will eat less. If they eat less, they grow slower. With the other species, they might also eat less, but the growth will be reduced more than with Eimeria tenella, because the epithelial cells that absorb the nutrients will be destroyed in part. So with Eimeria tenella, I consider that the lesion score needs to be more than 2 in order to say that there is a risk and there is a problem linked to the presence of Coccidia. So if you find lesion score 0, 1, or less than 2 for each species, except Eimeria necatrix, I think the problem is elsewhere. The problem is not due to Coccidia. But from lesion score 2 with the intestinal species, and more than lesion score 2, it means 2.2, for example, with Eimeria tenella, in that case, you can consider that Coccidia are pathogenic, and you need to do something in order to reduce the number of birds that will get sick.
Very clear. Thank you.